Okay. Let me turn on my video.
A very good evening, fellow Toastmaster and guest. I am Toastmaster Mayur, President of Speechweaver. Welcome to the open house session on evaluation, make it personal, and turning the table. A one of a kind session where you will learn about evaluation and table topic for the contest, which has begun in many clubs already. To help you prepare better, we have invited two prominent speakers. They will help you as the contest at various levels. We at Toastmasters provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop leadership and public speaking skills and attain greater self-confidence and personal growth. For every Toastmaster meetings or events, we have few guidelines that we follow. First, kindly mute yourself if you are not speaking and keep your phone on silent. Kindly turn on your video to keep our speaker motivated and interact with them. And appreciate each role takers and speaker by using a clap or thumbs up. Please refrain from speaking on sex, religion, and politics to avoid hurting sentiments of our audience. Please rename yourself as a role underscore your name. If you are a guest, kindly rename yourself as a guest underscore name. You can post your questions in the chat box, whatever questions you want to ask with the speaker. Our speaker and chat moderators will pick questions from the chat box. So I request every audience to keep yourself muted until you are invited. Last and the most important rule, attend this session with your active participation and take in, insights when you are going back to the home. I request Zoom moderator to keep everyone muted. So how many of you think, guys, you want to improve your evaluation and impromptu skills? You can type your answers in the chat box. I want to see those answers. Yeah, guys. Okay. 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 Yes. Yes. Lot of people are saying yes. Thank you for your responses, guys. You have come to the right place. These two legends will help you acing these two skill in a short span of time. Not only this session will help you in contest, but this session will also help you in your professional and personal life as well. If you are a non-Toastmaster and new to Toastmaster, for example, you are a manager and your boss asks you suddenly to present a design or represent a presentation to your client in 10-15 minutes. What do you think and how you are going to give that presentation? That is called the impromptu skills. Also, the, this evaluation and table topic skills help us in acing this. Using these techniques, we can ace these skills. Table topic and also known as extempore or impromptu speech. Now, I would like to thank our prominent guests who have joined us from various cities or countries. Thank you, Abhijit, Abhishek, Anjali, Arvind Nair sir, Elijah, Chloe, Ray for joining us. I would like to ask our district administration team Mazahir has joined us. So could you give us what are your expectation from the event, Mazahir? Could you tell us? Okay, anyone from the district administration team would like to say anything? Okay, no problem, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayur, for organizing such a great event. And
Yeah.
I think a speech was always bringing new innovatives and new themes in every meetings. But today is today's meeting is going to help not only our area members, all over the district members to participate in the district upcoming contest. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this meeting.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Rajesh, for your words. We are very happy to have you. He is our area director currently. Thank you, Rajesh. Now tell me, guys, where are you guys joining us from today? You can type your cities or country so we will have an idea where are you joining us. Okay, Bangalore, Singapore, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Okay, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Uganda, Chennai, Jaipur, Michigan, Taiwan, London, Shanghai. Okay, Korba. Okay, thank you for joining us from dining room. I am in my bedroom. Japan. Okay, someone has joined from Mars. Okay, so when did NASA or other space station has started relocating peoples there? Thailand. Thank you everyone for joining us from different part of the world. Now I would like to quote a African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. So stay with us for two power packed session today. To take us through the exciting event today, we have our very own dedicated Toastmaster and immediate past president of Speech Weavers. She is someone who absolutely loved Toastmaster. She finds the virtual format of Toastmaster a window of communication. She has traveled over 25 countries via the Zoom land and most importantly, making new friends and forging new connection wherever she goes. She is a Triple Crown awardee and Master Mentor Silver awardee. She believes the more you give, the more you will receive. So let's put your hands together and welcome Toastmaster Deepa, our moderator for the evening. Over to you, Deepa.
Thank you, President Mayur, for mentioning all that I told you to mention, and your check is waiting in the inbox. Welcome, Toastmasters from across the world, distinguished guests, and welcome to Speech Weaver's 630th meeting. Today, we are focusing on contests, but it doesn't mean there's nothing for the ones who are not contesting. There's something for everybody, because evaluations and table topics are so universally in nature that you'll definitely pick up something or the other from this session and have fun in the way, because this is going to be interactive and this is going to be conducted by some experts that will stun you with what they have to offer. Now, in Toastmasters, every year we have at least 3 contests: evaluation contest, table topics contest, and the international speech contest. We can see contests in one angle. We can see that as one standing up against the other, or we can see it as a very stressful event testing our skills. But we can also see contests as something that excites us. We can see it as a challenge. We can see it as something that offers us a hope of a prize. And we can also see it as something that doesn't allow us to give up. Contests are all of it, if you see it in those eyes. Whenever I took part in contests, it was a period of my time when I learned in an accelerated way. And today, at this meeting, in the 2 hours we'll have, you will do exactly that. You will learn in an accelerated mode. To all the guests who are not Toastmasters, I have a few words to talk about Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a non-profit organization which helps in building public speaking and leadership skills. We are present in around 149 countries currently. Speechweavers Toastmasters Club is a community club based in Bangalore, India. And we are one such club in around 15,800 clubs located across the globe. We are a unified group of people, around 365,000 people across the world. So we meet weekly, we practice speeches, we evaluate one another, and we provide a supportive environment where we can succeed, where we can celebrate our small wins and grow. Now, if you need more information about Toastmasters, I would recommend you all to visit toastmasters.org and get in touch with our chat monitor, Adarsh, who is our VP membership. He will get in touch with you and provide all the information you need to make an informed decision. Now, let me dive into this education sessions. And first off, we have the evaluation challenge. And to host this session, we have an excellent presenter, a speaker, a teacher, and a coach with us. He's been an educator all his life. 30 years of his life he spent in theater. He's currently the principal of Hangzhou International School and also its theater director. He's spoken to audiences of all ages in person and online. And District 92 is no stranger to him. He's been visiting a lot of us recently, and the last one being the IIM Bangalore meeting, where he enthralled the audience with his education session on vocal variety. Now, he's conducted trainings on education curriculum, theater techniques, Gallup Strengths Finder personality assessment, and he's passionate about using the power of words to inspire people to reach their potential. He's been a Toastmaster for 3 years, and in 2021-20, he reached the semi-finals of the World Championship of Public Speaking, which is an incredible feat. It's his personal goal to help people move forward in their life, and he's there to offer them all the help he can. He's my friend and my personal coach. Please welcome on your screen for the evaluation challenge, Toastmaster Fursey Gotuaco.
Woo! Thank you, Deepa. I appreciate it. You always make me sound so much better than I really am. And now if you'd make me sound a little thinner, that would be good too. I would appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 3 main points tonight. 3 main points. 1, be specific. Be specific. 2, be personal. Make your evaluations personal. 3, engage your audience. Engage your audience. That's all I got. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster Vinu. Okay, all right. Okay, well then on to you, next speaker, number 2. All right, those are the 3 things. Let's look at where we get information to do all of those 3 things. And the first thing that we're gonna look at are the evaluation sheets that Toastmasters gives us. Now let's be honest, my friends. Those are pretty generic, aren't they? They're kind of general. You know, I say things like, hey, go ahead and pull up an evaluation sheet. And somebody's like, which one do you want me to use? Like there's a difference. Oh, I know. A couple of the projects, there's a little bit different, you know, like the mentoring one. Oh, did he really speak of himself as a protege? So I get that. But 95% of the rest of it, pretty generic. But I want to point out a couple of things that maybe you didn't give us much attention to when you looked at it before. And if you're gonna be a great evaluator, not a good evaluator, if you're gonna be a great evaluator, then you need to take some of these little details into account. If you want to do well in an evaluation contest, then you need to take some of these details into account. If you want to move people forward and make an impact on their life, then you want to take some of these details into account. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start sharing the screen. In just a moment, after I give you some information, we are going to all watch a target speaker, Mr. Tom Morrow. We're going to watch this target speaker, and then I'm going to ask a few of you to step out in the room and go into a breakout room where you'll have a chance to write up your evaluation, bring your evaluation back in, and then we will all evaluate the evaluators, because that's what this is all about. Share screen now, Captain. Is the evaluation sheet on your screen?
Yes.
Don't all yell at once. Thank you, Mayur. I think that was a thumbs up. Yes? Excellent. Or were you just looking at your fingernail? I wasn't sure. Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. Let's go to page 3. Did you know there was a page 3? It's all about page 3, my friends. In your evaluations, back to me, in your evaluations, you have to be specific. Very specific. The more specific you can be, the better we can actually help our speakers grow. And in a contest setting, the more brilliant you look. Because you didn't paint with a roller. You didn't paint with a 5-inch paintbrush going, how terrific you were, how great you were. Oh, you're the best I've ever seen. That's a crock. Instead, be very, very specific. Your volume was appropriate for the room that you were in. Your eye contact. I like the variety of eye contact that you made, using one eye and then the other eye. My kids, they call this the stink eye. So how did you do it? Did you hold eye contact and wait for audience response? Yes? When we're talking about gestures, what kinds of gestures did we use? So let's go ahead and take a look at page 3. But this is why we're looking at something this specific. Let's take a look at this. Clarity. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spoken language is unclear. Don't be afraid to give a 1, but most people are going to be right in here. Yes, number 3. Spoken language is clear and easily understood. So a lot of people that I've seen give evaluations think that the evaluation forms are merely binary. Yes, I heard you. No, I didn't hear you. And that's all you mark. Yes, it's clear. No, it's not clear. Come on now. There's a lot of difference between 5 and 1. Take a look at the language. Exemplary public speaker who is always understood. Always understood. You could easily, in an evaluation, say, I could understand you 50% of the time. I understood you 75% of the time, but unfortunately, it was during your data points that I didn't understand you. Numbers are sometimes hard to understand. Or maybe I could understand you, but I lost the ends of your words. Is that really possible? Yes. A lot of people are not clear at the ends of their words. Wouldn't that be great to be able to tell a speaker, hit the consonants at the end of your word? Over enunciate. We could even say in this space, not necessarily Zoom, but in this space, the sound echoes. So when you does echo, slow down and let the sound echo back, and then punctuate the end of your words for clarity. Now that's specific. Make sense? Be specific. And your speakers will thank you because now they have something very, very, very clear to work on. Not just, well, that was good, be better. And then you give them a 3. How do I be better? How do I be better? Be clear. Maybe it's the vowel sounds that need a longer resonance. Yes? Let's take a look at a couple of the other ones. We're not going to dwell on these because we got other good stuff to get to. Vocal variety. Are we really looking at all of these? Tone, speed. Look at this. Volume to perfection. They don't always just have to be loud. Yeah? They can have appropriate volume. Tone, speed, and volume as tools. Look at that. Look at number 3. Uses tone, speed, and volume as tools. Tools of what? Tone, speed, volume as tools to install an air conditioner. Tools of what? Tools of telling a story. Tools of persuasion. Yes? What's the objective of the speech? Are they using everything at their disposal to accomplish the task? If my job is to let you know that you have got to stop polluting the ocean with plastics, am I using the tone appropriately to get people to stop polluting the ocean with plastics? Because I teach 9th graders, and this is how they get you to stop polluting. You need to stop polluting. Stop polluting the ocean. I'm like, okay, I can't listen to that for a whole lot long. Maybe that's where we offer feedback to our speakers. Put a pause right before the most important word in your sentence. Put a pause just before it. Put a pause after it. Repeat the phrase. These are the specific things we can tell our speakers. Going back to the big sheet, eye contact. Oh my gosh. Everybody thinks of this as binary. You made eye contact, you didn't make eye contact. Did they make eye contact at the most important moment? Did they make eye contact at the beginning? Were they okay to pull away from the eye contact in order to create the image that you want? And then reconnect with the audience? Reconnect with the audience. Take a look at this. Effectively uses eye contact to engage audience. Take a look at number 4. Uses eye contact to gauge audience reaction and response. We're going to come back to that later on interest. But are you gauging audience response? Yes. We have a lot of little details that we can use to give feedback to our speakers. Let's take a look at gestures. Gestures are always one of my favorite things. If they're doing this, is that good enough? Do you rank this a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5? What do you say? Go ahead, unmute, give me a number. What do my gestures rank right now? Who says a 1?
2.
This is a 1. Is this a 1? Go ahead, yell out your number.
It could be a 2.
2. Deuces. Any other numbers? What is this gesture rank for you? How about this gesture? What is this gesture rank for you? I know. Off camera. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure what that sound was, but it didn't sound like a number.
It depends on the
Mayur,
context.
was that you? Oh my gosh, Mayur. Sorry. Oh, now Mayur's like,
It was
oh
not me.
Sure, Mayur. Okay, so what do we rank this gesture? Where are the elbows? Are the elbows away from the body? Are we going to be satisfied with this gesture? Everybody knows I call this forklift, right? Beep, 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 beep. I serve you my speech. Here you go. Oh, come on. If that's all you're going to do, just send it in a memo. Right? Use gestures to maximize the opportunity. Are they using gestures between themselves and the audience? Obviously here in front of the camera, between that and that, these are all my gestures. Or are they using the space to the side? I once had somebody give me feedback when I was preparing for the World Championships. He gave me feedback. He says, you use your right hand to gesture far more than your left hand. He was right. I went back, I watched the video, he was right. So what are we doing? Are we telling them about their elbows? Could we say, mobilize the wrist? Use your fingers for more subtle moments. Like when you talked about your father giving you a precious gift. Yes, let the gestures and the voice work together to create just the right moment. I'm not saying that the gestures got to be like doing that, okay? I get that. I'm not saying overreact with your gestures. I'm saying, are they appropriate? Are you really maximizing everything you've got? You were born with a lot of working parts. Do you know how to use all those working parts? Audience awareness. Are you anticipating the audience's needs? This includes the need to laugh. In the structure of the speech, are you anticipating the audience's need to laugh? Are you anticipating the audience's need to hear the information again? Meaning, are you repeating it? Are you repeating it? Do you ever get that feeling of deja vu? Do you ever get that feeling of deja vu? All right, point made. Comfort level. Take a look at comfort level. Highly uncomfortable. I get that. Appears uncomfortable with the audience as if they are standing in line with their mother-in-law. Appears comfortable with the audience like they have their children at the circus. Appears fully at ease with the audience as if they left their children at home and they're at circus by themselves. What level of comfort? Are the speakers comfortable enough to laugh? Are the speakers comfortable enough to laugh? Wouldn't it be nice if you heard the speaker laugh? Or how about when the speaker shows vulnerability? Did the speaker look comfortable enough to show vulnerability? Fully engages audience with exemplary, well-constructed content. Well-constructed content. Let's think about figures of speech. When's the last time you told a speaker, I know that much of your speech has a lot of data, but have you ever thought about using a metaphor? We could use metaphors. We could use similes. We could use alliteration. Why do we have a grammarian who tells us all the things we don't do if we don't empower our speakers to use great grammar and to use great ways of putting words together like a tidal wave bringing you in on a surfboard and you ride that speech all the way in, baby? Are we really rewarding our speakers for being great speakers? Let us differentiate between a talker and a speaker. Let us differentiate between a talker and a speaker. We know the talkers. They don't have a point. They just sort of keep going. Yeah, I know, right now. Right now, some of you are thinking again, mother-in-law. Okay, so a speaker makes sure that the audience is understanding what they're saying. Consider it a dialogue. Are you understanding As a speaker, are you understanding what the audience is understanding? Or are you just going to keep talking until the red sign comes up? I know we can't actually pause, or can we? Could we pause for a laugh? Could we pause to let the moment sink in? Could we pause to check and see how our audience is doing? You're right. And then you move on. You can take 5 to 7 seconds to acknowledge. As a speaker, you can build in time to acknowledge that the audience has a reaction. Now we're authentic. Now we're authentic. No one wants a robot, right? You guys know what I'm saying. You go to a website, they're not sure if you're fake or real. Please tell us that you are not a robot. That should be said for all speakers as well. Please tell us that you are not a robot for 7.5 minutes. How do you prove you're not a robot? How do you prove that you're not a robot? Yeah, check in with your audience, the eye focus, the gestures that include, yes, in what direction are my hands moving? Towards me. Towards me. Are my hands behind? Are my hands above? All of a sudden, I'm creating a much larger picture. We're not on TEDx yet. So in the meantime, we've got to go ahead and make our own magic because we don't have all that wonderful lighting and camera work. So let's go ahead and make sure that we have all of that. That's page 3. Somebody once told me, I didn't know there was a page 3. Page 2, you all know what to do here. Circle it, write a comment. Tell them what to do better. You gave them a 3, how could they improve? You gave them a 3 on eye contact, how could they improve? Maybe you have to say, stop reading your speech. Now here's a thought, you all know this, excel that, want to work on, challenge yourself. Oop, that wasn't shared, was it? I'm so sorry, my apologies. You all know page 2, there it is, audience awareness, yada, 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 circle a number. And then you all know page 1, excel that, work on, challenge yourself. I'd like to challenge you with this. Write things on page 1 that are not on page 2 or 3. What? Write things on page 1 that are not on page 2 or 3. Prove to me that you are going to personalize this evaluation for me, the speaker, because the things you're telling me are not on the generic TI evaluation form. What could you possibly mean, Fursey? The TI evaluation form is complete. It is a godsend. It's okay. It's generic. It's generic. Where on there does it say you have great energy? Where on there does it even say you used repetition to drive home the point? Where does it say on there, I appreciate how you used the PowerPoint to clarify what you were trying to say, but the words were too small? Where does it say on there, I would like to challenge you to develop a deeper and more resonant voice? I would like to challenge you to create metaphors, to use alliteration to create a sense of rhythm that pulls your audience in. Make it personal. Let them know this is just for you. This evaluation is packaged and created just for you. And there's a ton of different ways to do that, a ton of different ways. I know some people get really flashy and they'll say, I have created an acronym. I've created an acronym, and so I'm going to give you these 11 points. maybe 3 or 4, huh? You only got a few minutes. So consider that. All right. Any questions so far?
There are none so far. We can proceed further. I'll put up in the chat box so that.
Why, that must have been some brilliant teaching there, Fursey. No one had a question. Or they're all waiting for the second speaker and they just went out to go get some dinner. All right, so let's go ahead and keep moving. We're gonna go ahead and watch a video. All right, this is a video of a guy named Tom Morrow. And what we're gonna do is watch him, and then I'm gonna take 3 people, 2 or 3 people. We're gonna send them off. We're gonna make fun of those people, and everyone else can give me a point of feedback while we're waiting on them, and then we'll bring them back after 5 minutes. Everyone kind of knows how that works. All right, share screen. This is a fella named Tom Morrow. Does everyone see him? Okay, here we go. It's not the full time, just a minute. 17.
Today, we're going to talk about subways. Now, I'm thinking that most of you have done a subway at least 1 or 2 times. What are the things you think about when you think of subways? It gets crowded, doesn't it? It gets crowded. Just get jammed up. And sometimes, later in the day, the people that you get jammed up with, they kind of smelly. But that's okay. I'm willing to accept a little bit of smell, just a little bit of smell, not a lot of smell, just a little bit of smell. I'm willing to accept a little bit of smell because it's cheaper. The subway is cheaper and it's faster. If you want to get from one side of town to the other, subway does it very quickly. Whereas if you were in a taxi, it costs more, and you're gonna go here, you're gonna go there, you got a red light, you're gonna go up, you're gonna go down. I know a taxi doesn't really go up or down, but you get the idea, and it's bumpy. So you should take a subway.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Man, you're a good looking dude. All right, let's go on. Hang on. Wait, stop sharing. Did that share? It didn't share?
It shared.
Okay. Whew. Oh my gosh. I saw some people go, nope, idiot, learn how to use Zoom. Okay. Do I have any volunteers who would like to be sent off to a room and do an evaluation of Tom?
Okay, we have Joel. Anybody can raise your hands to evaluate that speech by Tom Morrow. Who would like to volunteer? Please raise your hand.
Did you say Joel?
Joel, yes.
Joel?
Elijah is also willing to evaluate, and we need one more. Who's going to be the lucky one? Another raise of hand.
If not, we go with 2. Joel, I see Joel. Joel is going to go to room 1. See you soon, Joel.
We have Shan Ray join us to evaluate.
Shan Ray. Who is the second person? I forgot the name.
Elijah.
All right, I'm looking for you.
Both have raised their hand.
If you'll tell me who they are, I'm still looking for Shan Ray. Did you say Shan Ray?
Yes.
Shan Ray, you're going to room 1. You soon. And the third person, I'm so sorry. Elijah.
Elijah. Elijah.
E-N.
Eli.
I'm sorry. Would you start that again, please?
Elijah.
Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
Yes, that's a correct pronunciation.
Elijah. Excellent. I'm finding you soon. I gotcha. All right, Elijah, we'll see you soon. Okay. While we are waiting for our contestants to come back, it's 8:09. So we'll try to keep track of the time. Some thoughts for Tom Morrow. And I'm okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's purposely that way, right? Okay, great. Tell me one thing that you would tell Tom to improve on. One thing that you would tell Tom to improve on. Ray, is that a volunteer, Ray?
Yes, it's a volunteer. I noticed a lag in the video where I had trouble following my your presentation. I couldn't tell the matching between what you were saying and what was being displayed on the video. It was definitely, let's just say the voice was trying to catch up to what was being displayed on the video.
Fantastic, Ray. Good call. Good catch. Excellent. Good. Another person? Something that Tom could improve on. Something for him to work on for.
He was too close to the camera.
He was too close to the camera. Excellent. That was very good. Thank you. Good eye. Good eye. Yes, DTM Alicia. How do you pronounce that name? Dittum? Dittum?
Yeah, it's Alicia, yeah.
Alicia, yes, ma'am.
The most direct one is vertical. It doesn't cover his whole person. So most of his hand gesture is out of the screen. So I would advise him to put the horizontal so that you can cover it. That's the one.
Fantastic. Good point. Good catch. Excellent. Excellent. Good analysis on that. Anybody else? Something that Tom could do. Donna Young. How are you, Donna Young? How's Tarrant County?
Very good. The only thing I noticed was what I would call a cultural reference that could be confusing. So for anyone in the States, we don't know what a Subway is unless you live in New York City. And the first thing I thought about when you said Subway was a Subway sandwich that comes from a fast food restaurant that's very common in the States. So it sounds really funny to say that, but sometimes you have to actually explain something as simple as a subway. So that it took me a while to catch on that you were physically talking about the underground, the tube, you know? Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. You know, it's interesting because when I was putting that speech together, trying to figure out what I would choose, at the time that I made it, it was for an audience in China, and I changed it to a subway just for them. So you're absolutely right. To go the reverse direction to the US, you got to explain it a little bit. Spot on. Spot on. I think we have time for maybe one more. Suraj?
Oh, yes.
We'll go more. After Suraj, we'll go Pragya. Yeah? Okay, Suraj?
So my observation was he could have used more hand gestures, and that's what I felt. He could have used hand gestures to stress upon points, and I found him to be very spontaneous, and probably he could have paused in a couple of places. These were my two observations.
Fantastic. Hey, Suraj, what number would you give him on his gestures? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, I think, 3.
Fantastic. Thank you, Suraj. Pragya, man, I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, if you go for the Indian pronunciation. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Great. So I'll give you an overview of how I took the whole speech together. One thing was when you're talking about the content, because that's the king, you told about Subway. Yes, you did not introduce what a Subway is until the end of the speech. Even I was assuming that it's the Subway sandwich. Secondly, when you explained about the clumsy Subways and the sweaty things and the smell, you should have shown more expression of you being frustrated rather than what happens with the smell. And when you told about it's cheaper, you should be happy. The expression, the savings that you're doing should be displayed on your face, which was not there. And as a person, I was looking, why am I listening to the speech? What's there in it for me? yes, it's cheaper. Yes, subway is easy, but what's in it for me? Why are you telling me this? If you would have added one line, that would have made a more connect with me and had a kind of a takeaway for me. More like a 2-minute table topic speech.
Fantastic. Well done. Great advice for Tom. I'll make sure to tell him when he gets back tomorrow. Okay, I don't know why I can't wink with my left eye. All right, let's go ahead and bring our speakers back, or at least one of them. The first one was, who was our first? Oh my gosh, I forgot how to do this. It's what is it? Who are our peeps? Who was the first one that we sent off?
Joel.
Well, okay, so I can move him back to the main room, right? Main session, yes. Okay. Joel, are you with us? If you can hear us, move some furniture. Joel? Oh man. This didn't work as smoothly as the direction said it would. Has anybody ever found themselves saying that when they're putting together something from IKEA? Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Aakash, what's happening? Do you see Joel in the room?
He's
I'm clicking on main session.
room 1 only.
Should we tell him to leave the main room?
Yeah, you
So
can text
I'll go in the room and I'll ask him.
Okay. If not, we can just close all the rooms and if, we'll just say, hey, turn off your volume and be honest, But it's not like it's a competition. I want you to pretend to be 5 years old and just stand there going, la, 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 la. But please mute yourself. Okay, Mayur went to go get him. Nope, Joel should be coming back. Hey, Joel? You there, Joel?
He's there.
You are muted, sir.
Okay, I'm good.
Fantastic. All right, Joel, you ready to give us an evaluation on Mr. Morrow?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I want you to keep in mind the 3 important things, which are, I don't know what they are, Joel. Just give a great evaluation. No, be specific. All right, be specific, be personal, be engaging to your audience. Engage your audience. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, fellow speaker, and in particular, Tom, your speech was an excellent speech. You covered the benefits of using the subway. You showed us how different it is when there's a crowd. There could be a smell. You showed us the reality. Your gestures expressed, if we were to take an alternative form of transportation, such as taking a taxi, a cab, that he could give us a scenic route. We could be stuck in traffic jams. There are other struggles outside of costs. So you gave us a very fair assessment of the advantage of the subway. I would want to suggest that you could have also added the simplicity of using a subway, because you have a subway card and it deducts the money, whereas the transactional cost on a taxi could be more complicated on how you would pay for the taxi. And you could have added the A's of going from point A to point B on the subway, because the subway destination was very close to where you wanted to be, and how you would be guided back to the location you needed to be, the end location. The taxi, the cab, would go from point to point, but we can't guesstimate the delay time. So you could have added that aspect as well into your speech about the taxi, where there are some benefits. I see that by being a stranger to this town, you would get the vibrancy of the city. But if that's not an objective, then you could show that you are in your own space. You could be typing, you could be sending emails back. So there are many things you could apply your time with. And all in all, I think you did really well. You could have also taken allocation for the frames. You were moving a little fast. So if you moved a little slower so that the camera could capture your frames per second, it would have been much better. But other than that, you really had a decisive decision that subways were better. And I tend to agree with you. You showed all the benefits of the subway. Back to you, speaker.
Excellent. Thank you, Joel. Joel, I'm going to work very quickly here in the interest of time, all right? Joel, I would like to encourage you in your evaluations or anytime you speak to be a speaker. Let's go ahead, use our gestures just like the form says, yeah? Let's go ahead and make sure to engage our audience with that enthusiasm. I appreciate a lot of the ideas that you came up with. I would want to encourage you to move more of the ideas towards how Tom could get better on the next speech. He may not be talking about subways on the next speech. Now, if it were a competition, yes, if Tom advances, then he'll want to change his speech on the next round. But for the most part, in our day-to-day, week-to-week club meetings, they'll probably move on to the next topic. Does that make sense? And so what else could we tell Tom to improve on next week when he decides to talk about pizzas, right? As opposed to subways. And I think if we can focus more on ways for that speaker to move forward and how to apply what he learned here. So you could say there's a lot of great details, rush those details, and then spend a little more time on how you translate those details to the next topic. Joel, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I appreciate the fact that you volunteered, Joel. You did. Everybody else, I mean, well, I know nobody else wanted to volunteer. They were like, only after you said, yeah, I'll do it. Everybody goes, yes, Joel. Very good. So I appreciate you volunteering. Thanks for stepping up. I hope that some of this feedback helps you as an evaluator. Go back to your club, help those folks get better as well. Thanks, Joel.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joel. Our next evaluator is, sorry, I forgot the name. Is it Elijah?
Elijah, yes.
Eliza. All right. Okay, Elijah, are you ready? Remember the three things that we went over today, okay? Pizza, fried chicken, Diet Pepsi. Excellent. What's the word of the day? We don't know. Okay. Word of the day is cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. Extra points if you include that in your evaluation, Elijah. All right, go ahead. Or not. You know, I get that same reaction in the classroom sometimes. Okay, do we have Elijah in the room? Is
I
Elijah in
think
the
he
house?
is not in the meeting right now.
Are you serious? I cracked all those jokes and he left?
Maybe due to connection, he got disconnected.
Okay.
Do we have Sean Ray?
Yeah, do we have Sean Ray? Sean Ray, I see Sean Ray.
Yes.
I see Sean Ray. Okay, Sean Ray, remember the three most important things: suntan lotion, bug spray, and plenty of fluids. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and especially Tom. I really enjoyed what you shared with us, and a few things really stood out to me. I saw that you were standing up and really engaging the audience. And that was one thing that really I noticed from the start. And with that, I was able to observe your gestures and how you brought us into the topic you were talking about, because the gestures really brought out what you were sharing with us. The tone in your voice was very captivating because you went from high to low. And when you wanted us to get onto a point. There was a point in time where you actually paused and then tilted your head and you looked at us. And then you went on sharing, and that really caught my eye and made me reflect on what you shared before that. Another thing that really stood out was you mentioned certain phrases a few times, like cheaper and faster. That really stuck in my head, that Subway, cheaper and faster. And it just registered very easily because you brought that point across very effectively. An area that I would love to challenge you to do is in your follow-up speeches. And so if you could bring in, like I caught the ideas and the points behind Subway being convenient, though sometimes there's a smell, and how it is in a taxi and it's rocky and stuff. But what I felt would have been really powerful is if you could bring in a story about yourself in the subway and how it made you feel. So maybe instead of telling me that it could be smelly, you could tell me there was one day I was in the subway, it was after work, and you could bring it out through a story so that I could connect with you at a more personal level. I would really have loved that. So other than that, it was really engaging and captivating. And I thank you for sharing with us. Okay.
Nice job. Well done. Let's give them a round of applause. Joel and Shanray, thank you so much. Shanray, there's a couple of things that stood out to me. The word you used, captivate. Good word. Nice word. We are giving speeches, ladies and gentlemen. We are giving speeches. A nice, long, semi-improvisational, extemporaneous speech. But if you can get a couple of words in your head ahead of time, see what I did there? If you can get a couple of nice words and pop those out there, they can maximize the time that you have in front of your audience, even though you're just doing an evaluation. No, you're out there and you're going to engage your audience. It's okay to use a metaphor to engage your audience in an evaluation. It's okay to use a simile. It's okay to use alliteration in your evaluation speeches. It might help your speaker remember what you're saying, and it will definitely engage your audience. So Shanray, nice job on the captivating. I thought you brought up a lot of really nice points. I thought your notion of giving a story, your suggestion of Tom having a story in place of the smelly, nice. I liked your gestures right here in front of you. If I could offer you something as a speaker, nice background, but the amount of space that your body takes up, yeah, is much less. And I know it's always a technical thing, and you probably don't want that trees hanging out the top of your head, you know. But I really like what you had to say. Clear, very clear voice. Lovely. Joel and Shanray, I do appreciate that. It's always tough to put yourself out there like you both did. You showed a great deal of courage. You showed a passion for helping your speaker. And bottom line, that's what we do as evaluators. We make sure that our speakers get right back up on that stage, grab that microphone, and blast away. Engaging our audiences as an evaluator can be difficult. One way, there are many ways, one way is when you have a lesson that you can use as a teachable moment for everyone, I think you can speak to the whole group as such. So if you're saying, I really appreciated how you used pause at those dramatic moments. My friends, pausing is your best friend. Pausing allows the audience to catch up. And when we pause, we engage our audiences. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you for using pause. Yeah, you can shift gears that quickly to engage your audience and make sure that they are there with you and reinforce something positive. You can also do it on something that they're not quite doing as well as they could. right? You could say, I appreciated how you used eye contact to the left and the right, but I felt like you weren't really looking at the folks in the back. I felt like between your eye contact and your voice, you focused on the front of the room. Remember that we have a lot of good folks in the back and that we want to make sure that they hear it too. I think all of us can do that in general. I think anytime you use something that specific and that broad, it's strange how to be specific and broad at the same exact time. You allow yourself to reach the greatest audience and yet be dead on precise about what you're doing. Engage your audience with humor. If you can find a way to add a little bit of humor into your speech evaluation, it's great. Some people are brilliant at that opening of an evaluation. The balance between saying something meaningful and positive versus too flowery, too over the top. Find that balance. To be able to appreciate your speaker and what they brought, be authentic. Find something that you can stand behind and say, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you picking a topic that spoke to an audience. I appreciate the energy. I appreciate the focus. You had an excellent sense of how to structure a speech to connect something so historical and yet something so immediate. Yeah? So consider something that you can say authentically to celebrate your speaker and set the tone for what you want to say. Last point, a friend of mine taught me this, my mentor, don't use a piece of paper. Not that you all did, but don't use a piece of paper. Try to go up there and say what you need to say without notes. I used to go up there with notes. I think I'm making the conversion. Keep it in your head, the positive things, one thing to get better at. Timer, what's my time? Am I getting close?
Fursey, we do have questions though. Shall we take it up?
No, I may not have answered. Yes, what are the questions?
The first question is,
anyone in the breakout room? Did we leave anyone in the breakout room? Because I'm scared that if we close the Zoom and they're still in the breakout room, they'll be stuck there. I saw that in a movie once. It's a thing. The struggle is real. Yes, go ahead. Question.
the first question is from J1, and they ask, when we point out to strengths and weaknesses, how do we create a deep connection and how deep a connection to make?
I think the best way to connect with an audience on the weakness is just to come right out and say it. You suck. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. That's a joke. That's a Aakash. Can you strike that from the record? That was a joke. There's things that they did well today and they should continue to do tomorrow. There are things that they may not have shown today, but with a little bit of tweaking, they will show tomorrow. Let them know. Sorry, I didn't actually get choked up. I just had something in my throat that really choked up. No, let them know that you are ready to see them again tomorrow. You are ready to hear them next week. The mistake, something they left out, something they need to improve, that's not the end of it. That's just where they are today. And I am so ready to hear you again tomorrow. Yeah, so whatever it is they need to improve, it's okay. I want to see it tomorrow. And the challenge, by the way, what I sometimes do for the challenge is it's something that it might take them 5 to 8 weeks to get, 5 to 7 speeches to get better at, but it's worth going after. Let them know you're not going to get this tomorrow, but in a month and a half, after a few more speeches, you're going to be dynamite. Next question, please, Deepa. Thank you.
It's from Bismaya, and Bismaya has to ask, there are so many points in evaluation page 3. How do I cover it in 2 to 3 minutes? And he has a complaint against one of his evaluators because when he covers just 3 points, his evaluator comes up and tells, there were 3 other points that you didn't cover. What do you have to say?
If you're a great evaluator, you can lump some of those together. Like with vocal variety, you can include the diction, you can include pacing and rhythm, yes? To make a point, when you talk about emphasizing certain points, you can cover voice and gestures and eye focus all together. You can say all those things work together to create a point. I'd like for you to be aware of your audience so that we can find the most interesting points in a speech and make sure to emphasize those. So structure your speech, create better rhythm, use gestures to create a clear image, a clear point that you want to make to your audience. I think I used about 4, maybe 5 things in that one extended comment, that one long sentence from William Faulkner. I know that most people don't know who that is, but he had these really long sentences. Does that help create a concept? So you're not bringing up point. You're bringing up an overarching concept that includes several points. In a club speech, I give the written, which we all should do. I give my notes, you can do or not do. All right, so I give my written evaluation, my notes, and then I do the oral. What I say verbally may not include everything in the notes. And you got to let them know that. Hey, I only got 3 minutes. So I'm going to give you something that you could package in your mind and that everyone else understands. I'm not going to give you a grocery list of things to get better at. That's a beat down. Read it later.
And then we have another question by Ray Rivero. Ray Rivero asks, how can a Toastmaster prepare to do an evaluation prior to the start of a meeting, not just by getting an evaluation form and asking the speaker as to what we need to pay attention to, but what kind of mindset do we prepare oneself for the role?
Boy, I tell you, who asked this question? Thank you. Because I didn't bring this up earlier because I was trying to focus on contest, but in a club speech evaluation, I asked my speaker, why did you join Toastmasters? What do you hope to get out of it? What do you want to do in your life outside of Toastmasters? Then in the evaluation, I find a way to plug my comments in through a lens of what does this person need in their real life? If they're coming to me and giving a speech because they want to get a management position, then I'm going to say, you need to speak this way. You need to tell your stories. You need to engage, not just your audience, but you need to engage the workers whom you lead and engage them in a way that they want to keep working hard, because that's what's going to make you a leader and move you up in management. I know it's an extra step and I know it's hard, but that's how we make evaluations personal to our speakers. And that's what lets them know that you care. That's what lets them know you care. Imagine when you were a kid and you get scores back, grades back, marks back from a teacher. If you knew that they really cared about you, then you took the negative marks and said, I'll try harder. If you didn't think they cared about you, then you just took the grade and said, ooh, made the basket. Yeah. Same thing with our evaluation. Even in a contest, thank you, timer. Even in a contest, try to find some way to understand where that speaker is coming from. I have 2 reds. Oh my gosh, I'm really bad. Try to find a way to make it personal so that that person feels like you heard me. Not you heard me. You heard me. That's really what they want to know. Back to you, Madam Deepa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Fursey, Gotuaco, for that wonderful, insightful account on what goes on behind evaluation. All our audiences appreciate for your time, for your insights, and the lessons that everybody has gained. Can everybody chat how much you liked the session? We would all love to hear, especially Fursey. Please give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You can unmute yourself.
Fursey.
There you see the chat line flooding up. Thank you so much, Fursey.
You, Tom, our best. Nice.
Okay, then.
Thank you.
We will now move to the next part of our meeting today, which is table topics and table topics contest. And we have with us another expert speaker who I met in many forums. I saw her speak. I was stunned by her performance. And she had to be here at Speech Weavers. And I'm sure many of the audience who've joined us wants to know what goes on in her mind. How does she deliver those beautiful table topics that she's been doing? Our expert speaker is a life skills trainer by profession with the brand Living Life. She's been district finalist for Table Topics District 79, district semi-finalist for International Speech Championship. Currently, she's the VP Education of Vision Toastmasters Club in Hyderabad, Club Growth Manager for Division G, and she's also been part of Cluster PR team in District 98, a Triple Crown winner who's won the Outstanding Toastmasters for Division E and Outstanding Toastmasters for District 98, winner of Golden Feather for Division E. Please welcome this woman who wears number of feathers on her crown, Toastmaster Pragya Sharma Jain. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Deepa. So, hello everyone. And first of all, before I start the session, I have a request and rather a question. How many of you are here to actually compete in the contest or learn how to speak on any topic? Raise your hands. I see only 2 people. Then what are the others doing here? Okay. So first request that I would put to all of you is to first face your fears. Okay, I am not talking about the fear sitting here, but the fear sitting inside you. Please turn on your cameras and face the stage first. If you don't do that, there is no step going beyond that. So face your stage, look how you look in the camera, and then we'll see. Okay, let me start with a statutory warning. Can somebody think of what can this warning be for a table topic? Just a 2-minute speech and a statutory warning for that? Yes, there is. And the warning is table topics are subject to market risk. Please listen each document and the title very carefully and then start speaking on it. So I hope all the people who are into finance side would surely understand what this statutory warning means and what this investment your 1 hour being here means today. Okay, next question. How many of you feel that table topic is the most dangerous, dreaded form of public speaking? Raise your hands. I'm sure the ones who are not even raising still are thinking in their mind, I know, but I don't want to make others know, right? All of us are so scared of table topic. Then how did I get into something which most of us are scared of? There was a simple trick. I started attempting topic after topic. And when I attempted almost 700 topics, then I started to look back. 700 topics looks difficult, right? But that's what I did because I wanted to master something which creates so much of fear in all of us. In fact, I was more scared of table topics initially than I was of a prepared speech. Because in that speech, I knew what I'm going to speak about. But table topics? Who knows what comes in the world? What if they ask me rocket science? Or what if they ask me something which I don't even know? That's where I started attempting these topics. And today, what I am going to share with you is going to be the learnings from all these different sessions. But before I go into the in-depth analysis of what goes into table topic, there are 3 questions which I want to ask all of you. And these questions are related to your mindset. How many of you, when you start into a table topic session, the first thought that comes into your mind is, oh no, I don't know what topic am I going to get. I really can't speak on any topic. How many of you go through that feeling before you even raise your hand to go for a table topic? I think most of us do, right? The first thought. And that's when the confusion happened. Because when I attended my first education session on table topics, the person said, whatever first thought comes into your mind, start speaking on that. I was like, seriously? You want me to speak on this thing that I don't want to attempt any table topic? But probably that worked because that was the first thing I really talked about at that point of time. And that made me a little more confident because I could speak out what I felt. Next question is, how many of you really listen when somebody else is speaking on a table topic? How many times does this happen that a topic has been given to somebody else and you say, it's not my topic, I am saved? Happens, right? Does this happen that once you listen to your topic, there is a rail going on in your head? What if this was my topic? What will I speak on this? So effectively, when I have attempted 700 topics and I'm assuming that one meeting has at least 4 table topic speakers, I have attempted 700 into 4 table topics and have got those different views on it. So you can do the multiplication. I am not quite good with maths. And third and the last part, how many of you do actually consider that table topic is like a mini speech and that is why you need to connect with the audience? Or the only idea going inside your mind is, the sooner I get to the 1, the sooner I get to the 2 minute, and the sooner I get to the 2 minute, 30 seconds, I am done, over, gone. Happens, right? So let me take out you from this mindset. Let's have a shift today and understand how we can approach every single topic. Yes, I mean every single topic, even the ones which you don't understand, even the ones which are so long enough that you probably forget half of the topic by the time the last point comes in. Let's see. I'll be dividing the session into different segments. The segments will be knowing about yourself. It will be about the different techniques that we cover during the session. It will be about OBC. And finally, it will be about story. Because the most number of times people have asked me, how do I get a story? So that is something which I'm going to keep your curiosity till then. You decide how will you get your stories by the end of this session. And I will look for answers from all of you. So let me start with the first segment, which is about knowing yourself. Raise your hand if any one of you in the meeting knows that there are different kind of table topic speakers, or even in generic, there are different kinds of speakers. So we have Vandana who knows, and we have Ray who knows. Can you let me know? And we have Perry. Okay, is that Ravi Perry? I'm not sure. So Vandana, can you let me know what are the different types of speakers you know for table topics?
Sorry, I'm not able to start my video somehow because my cursor is not going there. I feel there are 3 kinds usually. One who is very confident, who uses their stage presence and makes a marks on the screen when they talk about it. Second, those people who have ideas, but they have problem in conveying and their fluency goes back. Our report is flooded with their jeopardized way of putting across. And the third, who actually listen to other, adapt themselves, and they take a sandwich approach. They have ideas, they have a story, they have ahs and ums, but still do a pretty good job on the topic.
We also have Ray. Ray, what kind of speakers do you think there are?
Oh, goodness. I think on top of what the last speaker said, there are also those speakers who are quite entertaining. They can start with a 2-minute speech and it really is nothing more than a warm-up. It's all of a sudden can start into an entertaining comedy routine. But then on the other hand, you have speakers that are so dull and boring that you can't wait to get the hook to get them off the stage. Those So I have those two extremes, and everybody else is in the middle. Those are kind of the two types of table topic speakers, and a variety in between.
Thanks, Ray. Okay, so I have a different approach. We also have Pankaja raising her hand. Pankaja, what kind of speakers do you think are there?
Sure. So the first type of speakers are like Fursey, who take the time to think on the topic and they structure it really well and they give you a very good structured speech, almost a mini speech, as you said, Pragya. The second type of speakers are the ones where they start from a viewpoint and somewhere in the middle and towards the end, they forget that and they end up with a very different viewpoint. The third kind of speakers are the one who start with full enthusiasm, like me. They start and then towards when the red card is about to be flashed, they realize, oh, I'm supposed to do this, and they have no time to do that. So that's the third kind.
Thanks, Pankaja. So I think to all the types, all the people sitting in the meeting room could easily relate, and you would have divided yourself into these categories as to where you fall. But let me stop you right there. Because the types of speaker I am talking about is something which will make you understand your specific style. As Fursey said, be specific. And that's how you need to be specific about your style too. So there are more than 5 to 6 varieties of speaker, but I will only focus on few. And I would request all of you to think in your mind, which category do you fall into? You might have different ones, or maybe you might be falling into 2 or 3 different categories as well. So first category, there are speakers who love numbers. The mathematician types, whenever you give them a topic, they will start, or their whole topic will be covered with a lot of numbers. 90% of people do this, 60% of the population does this. There are 4 kinds, there are 6, 7. They will be all about numbers, and half the times you will not understand half the numbers too. So if you are somebody who focuses on a number orientation, the thing which you need to do to excel on any table topic is read about numbers. Read everything going around you which has numbers, because that's where your brain will work. That's where you will be able to instantly get back on any topic if you have your numbers in hand. If you don't have numbers about that topic, you will feel lost. So read a lot about numbers. Second style is people who love sharing their experiences. So as soon as they get a topic, be it about science, be it about mathematics, be it about geography, be it about any motivation, they will always want to share an experience that they have had about that particular event or that particular topic. So if you are an experience-oriented person, try to maintain a book or a notepad or anything which you like, where you keep noticing experiences from different genres. Things related to inspiration, things related to motivation, a story related to science, a story related to whatever things you can think of in table topics. And those stories, when you have them handy, those will help you to get back to any topic. Then there are people who are always about pros and cons. Whatever the kind of topic I give them, they will always tell about a positive side of the topic, negative side of the topic, and then probably take a midway. If you are somebody like that, the best way for you to do is Google. Why Google? Because it is going to help you in picking up topics in which you can always find 2 ways. These kind of people are always good with a devil's advocate technique. I will come back to that technique later on, but remember, I'll tell you how this particular aspect helps there. If you are a comparison-oriented person, somebody who always say, this is better than that, red is better than blue, or something like that, if you like doing that, analyze the topic more. Analyze it in depth. And that's when these kind of people really need those 10 seconds needed in the start, because they will instantly have an analysis going on in their mind. Then there are many other people, like, there are humorous kinds who would always have humor into their speech. That's where collecting of humorous aspects which connect to all the different genres of topics helps them a lot. Now, there are many other approaches also which people follow. There are people who are pure storytellers. They will not go into pros and cons. They will not go into references, but they will just tell you a story, maybe from Panchatantra, maybe from some other fairy tales, and they would connect the topic to that particular subject. So it's completely on you. Understand your style, especially for contest. Try to focus and work on your style. If you want to go for other styles, you can go to clubs and attempt table topics and try taking different aspects over there, because that's a place where you're not at a loss. For contest, find out your specific style which you relate to. Okay, so now going forward, there is something which a person told me. What is the difference between a table topic and a prepared speech? You all believe that table topics has an opening, body, and conclusion, right? You've all heard that ample number of times. Yes, no, sleeping? Am I so boring that I'm making everybody sleep?
Yes, of course.
I know. I am not as interesting as Fursey. Deepa, you put me in a glitch by making Fursey speak first and then me second. Now people will get bored. Okay. So how many of you believe that a table topic is just like a mini speech and has an opening, body, and conclusion? But I say there is one difference in it. Can anybody of you tell me what's that one only single difference between a table topic and a prepared speech?
It's impromptu speech.
Yes, so that's the biggest difference. But what else in the opening body?
It's a short speech.
Okay, and no. So one major difference between a prepared speech and an impromptu speech is, okay, so somebody says that prepared speech or topic is your chosen topic. Okay. One major difference between two of these is, in a prepared speech, you write a story, you write a conclusion, and you decide what your end is going to be. But in an impromptu speak, the conclusion, the one line idea, which the flow which is supposed to be, is already given to you. So you already have a conclusion of where you need to reach. You need to form the story around that particular speech. And that's the easiest thing, because if you are like me, who always faces a problem in finding a topic for writing a speech, table topic is the thing for you. They've already given you a topic. You just have to weave a story around it. Right? But how do I do that? For prepared speech, I get ample amount of time, and I can decide what I want to speak. There is nobody else telling me whether that was right or wrong, and especially in a contest, when there's only one topic and everybody is speaking on the same topic, how am I being different? Right? That's where your whole body of the speech comes into picture. Most of the people, as somebody just now said here, fumble in the body part, and then by the time they have reached the conclusion, they are somewhere else. And this is a very common problem which happens with most of the people, right? That is why always keep the conclusion in the mind, select a story according to this conclusion, and then decide on your opening. And how are you doing that in the first 10 seconds that you get is simple. First two ideas that you get, first two ideas. Do not go beyond that. Because one common thing which I have seen with all of us that happens is there'll be few topics where we'll go blank. I have absolutely no idea about it. And there'll be few topics where I'm a master in that. I can literally write a PhD thesis if you give me time. But what you need to do is only the first two ideas. Most of the people say that, no, you should go with the first idea. But I am a firm believer that no, my first idea is mostly stupid. So I don't go with it. Once I think for one more second, I get a better idea. And I decide whether the first or the second I would want to select. So that's where you can decide any of those two. first 3 seconds you're spending on that. Next, at least 5 seconds you are spending on thinking of the story, which you have already collected probably, or which you feel instantly has related to it, and talk about it. Many a times this will happen that once you start speaking, oh, I'm getting so many thoughts now. I should put this, I should put that, and I can speak about a hell lot of things here. No. Once you have started, it's like marriage. Once you've, especially in Indian marriage, I'm not concerned about the other places, but if you see an Indian marriage, once you've started it, the whole world will be after you, that you have to go in that way only. And that's how it is. Once you have decided a topic which you want to be wedded to for that particular portion, do not get extramarital affairs into the picture. Let it be, right? If you do that, you are messing up your marriage, you are messing up your extramarital marriage also, and all the more, you're messing on all the money which you are going to get from your father-in-law's side. So you've messed up all of it. So please go with one thought that comes into the mind. And I am somebody who believes, although I have mostly heard that you should take a side. If suppose the topic is honesty is the best policy, take a side. Take whether you support this topic, you agree to the topic, or you don't agree to the topic. There are different ways of reaching to that particular part, and you can decide on your style again, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I am somebody of a belief who always gets the consensus part towards the end, towards the conclusion. And here's my explanation for it. For example, if I am somebody who believes going to temple is an important ritual, or probably a church or probably a mosque is an important ritual, if that's my topic, and if I am somebody who believes in God, but I still don't go to these places, the holy places, if I say that in the start, I disagree to the topic, what am I doing? The people who are, or the judges who are sitting in that room, that particular moment, half of them might be against me. They would close their ears and they would feel that I don't want to listen to this person because his views and my views don't match. So I go with an approach of giving a reasoning first, or a story first. And when I'm about to reach my conclusion, I know this is my conclusion. This is the topic which I have to relate to. And when I'm going to that conclusion, that's when I will tell. And thus, my friends, I agree or I disagree to this particular topic. That way you have made them explain, you've made them understand your outlook towards it, and you have also told that this is purely my view about it. I am not offending you in any particular manner. That's a kind of a connection which you will build with the audience. Whereas if you're getting them disconnected in the start, the connection in the start is distorted. You can't do anything about it. Afterwards, they will not even listen to you probably. Once that part is done, and just believe that a lot of people ask me at times, what is the right way of table topics? I don't have an answer to it, frankly, because there is no right way. On a same topic, maybe Suraj sitting here have a different perspective, maybe Deepa sitting here has a different perspective and experience, and maybe Aakash or Donna sitting here have a different perspective, because their experience are unique to them, their stories are unique to them. Then how can there be any perfect way of doing it? Techniques? Yes. There are a lot of techniques which people use to approach table topics. And let me tell you a few of them. The first, the most famous technique of all is the prep. So you say a point, you give a reasoning, then you give an example to it, and again come back to the point. If anybody of you wants to know who's new to Toastmasters, probably prep. This is considered one of the easiest approachable technique to talk about any topic that is in front of you. So if I say that technology is going great, I will say, yes, I believe technology is going great and it has changed the world a lot. And then you will give a reason of why you believe it. Because I believe that the technology has advanced us, modernized the civilization, and done so many things. Then I'll give an example, probably phone. it has increased our connectivity, it has done so and so things, and then I get back to the point again. Right? So that is one technique. Next one is Oreo, which is something which a lot of people also try, and it is similar to the prep method where you give an opinion. Normally, the difference between prep and Oreo, which I understood, was that in prep, you give a point which might not be a very, very strong ideology of yours, but in Oreo, you give a strong opinion about a particular subject. Then you give a reason to it, an example to it, and again, you sit back and tell them that, okay, fine, this is my opinion for these particular things. Other than that, there are techniques like cause and effect. Globalization is affecting the world. What are the causes of it? Or probably, what is, or if somebody talks to you that water is going to be a scarcity soon, what are the reasons for it? What do you think are the causes that water levels are going down? And then you tell the effect is going to be having so many droughts, maybe not having water to drink, maybe not having sufficient water for our coming generations. So you have told the cause, you have told the effect of it, and that is how you have substantiated your subject. Another easy technique, which is called the chronological technique, is past, present, future. This is something which I love attempting in a lot of topics, wherein you tell people about a story. It is majorly based on a story. You tell people of what happened in the past when I was probably 6 years old, what is happening in the present with me when I am so many years old, and what will happen to me in future when I'll be so many years old. Now, I skipped my age here. Please do not look for an answer there. I will not be giving you the answer. Okay. Going forward, there are many other techniques which people use, but they will need a lot of going through these newspapers and TV series, daily soaps, operas, everything you want to go for. So there are anecdotes which they give from the stories they have read, the books they have read, and they also talk about the pros and cons of a particular thing. So if I tell you that watching television is a good thing for kids, I know all the mothers sitting in this room would directly say, what nonsense is that? And all the fathers will be cheering up. Yes, somebody has given a good topic. So what you will do is you will tell the pros and the cons, the good that particular thing does, and the things which are not so good about that particular topic. And then you will take your stand on which one you want to do. So a major idea of pros and cons technique is what stand do you take in the end? And that's what gains you the points. How strongly have you convinced us with that particular stand? And then there's a breakup technique. I would request all the married men to please do not apply this technique on your wives. But this is a technique which I love in topics wherein I don't get anything, or probably the topic was so long that it made me sleep between the contest. What I do is I break that particular topic. Now, this is applicable to both. If you have not understood a particular topic, or you've not heard about that thing at all, or if the topic was too long for you to remember. So if you have a memory loss or Alzheimer's like me, probably you would not remember a topic more than 7 to 8 words. I don't do it. I forget half of it. So what you do is whatever part you understand, whatever part you remember, you start speaking on that particular part. If I say that science is a high-rated technology, science has high-rated technologies, and I don't know what does this high-rated mean, and what does technology means probably. What will I do? I will talk about science, what I understand from science and high-rated. Any 2 words which you can connect in that particular topic. The only motive, once you know that you do not understand the topic, is once find out those 2 words which you understand in that particular topic, or whatever part you remember, talk about it with confidence and conviction, because that makes a lot of difference. I have seen in one of the contests, the person who won that particular contest did not speak about the topic altogether, but was so amazing in the conviction with which that person spoke. that that person actually won. And I was quite surprised to see that. You should be so confident that the judges forget what the topic was. That's how it works. Okay. So I have a topic from Deepa. Blue is, it is the same point. Okay, you're telling to somebody else.
We do have questions though. Would you like to take it, Pragya?
Yes, if we do have.
So Vinu has a conundrum. He says, if there's a topic which I don't know absolutely anything about, can I just start with something that I know and then conclude linking with something remotely related to the topic? How do I go about it?
Oh, so this is by Blue, right?
No, this is by Vinu, RVP Education.
Okay, Vinu. Right. So Vinu, that's what I just told you about, that there will be times when, because of the anxiety, you might not have heard the topic. The topic must be such that you absolutely don't know anything about, or the topic is long enough for you to remember. In any of these scenarios, what you do is try to understand at least 1 or 2 words. It is a better idea in the contest. In club topics, you can obviously apply this approach, and it is totally accepted. But in contest, a better idea is to start from one of the words from the topic, so that the judges feel that you have a connection with the topic. Anything, it need not be a very strong word from the topic. So for example, if somebody says that my love for astronomy is unmatched, I don't know what astronomy means, but you can talk about love. You can talk about a word like my. You start with something, anything from that particular topic which you understand. Need not be a very strong word of that particular topic, because right now in the contest, your focus is to speak and not leave for those 2 minutes. Remember that. That's your time. That's your stage. Use it as much as you can. And this thing happened with me. At a point of time when I was in the division contest, I could not hear the topic well in the first go. But I somehow tried to find a weaving with the topic, and I spoke about it. I created a story which made people forget what the topic was. Frankly, the story which I was telling you about, the person who did not speak that on that topic that particular day was me. I did not want to come out as a person who has done that, but yes, that was me. I took a word from that particular topic, and I did not talk about that topic at all. Rather, with that word, I created such a powerful and emotional story that I think half the judges would have been crying, and they forgot what the topic was. And I won that particular contest. That was a surprise, because I thought now I have lost it, but it did happen. So it does work if you have that kind of a conviction and strength which you are portraying, and the confidence which you are portraying at that point of time. So for everybody to just understand it a little more, this is the ballot for table topics. And I'll tell you a little bit about how to score on each particular point. Deepa, we do have time, right?
Yes, we do have time.
Right. So we will go about these points on how and what gets you score at each point. That is what I have learned. When it comes to speech development, this is the toughest thing to score on for anybody in a table topics, because I really can't formulate a speech with the opening body and conclusion within 2 minutes. So what I will do is I will leave the conclusion part, because I know that the topic is my conclusion. If I connect back the story and just talk about this thing in the end, and so honesty is the best policy, I have concluded my topic. So I don't focus too much on that conclusion, although it needs to be with a punch. So even if you are repeating your topic, for example, your topic says that, for example, the same one. My topic was victory over an act of compassion. What would you select? An act of victory over an act of compassion. What would you select? This was my district semi-finalist question. So I did not know, frankly. I always take a middle path in these kind of questions, because I know they are very tricky. Whatever side you take, it is going to be a dangerous side. So I took a middle path, and when I came into the end, I just repeated the same line. Victory over an act of compassion. What would you select, my contest chair? I will go for a victory which makes me compassionate at the same point of time. Done. My conclusion part was over. And the speech development, once I have decided there are two words, victory and compassion. What I do is I select a story either on victory or on compassion at that point of time. And in the end, I added, although we all go for this compassion, but don't you think victory has its own aspects? It makes us stronger. And a true victorious person is one who also is compassionate towards others. So I have logically not talked too much about the victory part, but rather I have connected how this point, which I'm not speaking, is also important with this. So this is how the speech development aspect come into picture. Go reverse in those 10 seconds, right? Then it comes to effectiveness. So enthusiasm is something which comes with confidence, because I know half of the people at that point of time in the contest are literally sweaty hands, and they are, oh, when will I go to that main room? I don't know what the topic is. Maybe others are just speaking better than me, and so many thoughts going in your mind. That in that room, when you're in the breakout room, these are all the things going in your mind. And the best thing which happens is that your mind tells me, oh, you're a fool. Do we even know everybody speaking outside would have done better than what you're doing? This happens to everybody sitting in that room at that point of time. But what you need to do is, I'm least bothered about what others are doing, because that's not in my hand. I am going to give my best, whatever I can for this particular day. And that's what shuts up this stupid thing inside. That's what I did for myself in those breakout rooms, for evaluation contest, for table topics, for everything. That's what I do. When it comes to effectiveness and logic, as I said, go reverse. So what you're doing is you're actually forming a logic from the conclusion, the thing which you have to speak on. And then because you have a conclusion in your hand and the idea, the one-line idea in your hand, you know which story will connect best to it. And I can't tell you how to collect story, because your experiences, my experience is going to be different in life. Probably somebody sitting in Singapore has experienced different things, much more different than what I have done in that context. But go with a conviction of your own story. Preferably, do not pick others' story, because you can never portray that kind of emotion, feeling, and experience which you portray with your own story. I lost my grandmother 2 days, not even 2 days, the night before my semifinals. I lost my grandmother who has raised me throughout my life. She's everything to me. And that's when I spoke about it. Why not? That's my experience, that's my story. And that's what is going to give me a feel. And that's where the effectiveness and the connect of the story will come. Next is the physical appearance, body language, and speaking area. A lot of it does not relate too much to the online world and the physical world. But even if you're sitting, try to keep your laptop at least this much, this arm length away from you. So now you see that I have my almost half torso visible to you. And I have this much area which I have got to speak. If I go a little more back and use the headphones, I have increased my area. I don't always need to move. If you are somebody who gets more conscious while standing and delivering a speech, sit down, relax. If you want to show expressions, turn only this much. Turn 45 degrees angle. You don't need to really move on the stage all the time. And remember, because it is online, you are too close to people. You're not a stage away, like, somewhere there probably. You're too close. So if you do too many hand gestures, the focus of the people will be on your hands and not on what you're speaking. So contain the gestures to the important segments which you would really want to focus on, you would really want to speak about. And that's when you get that kind of a physical gesture part. Voice modulation, as I said, if it's your story, you will know the emotion, you will know the voice, you will know the feeling deep inside, and that's where that sound comes. So my throat literally choked when I was talking about my grandmother, because that's what I was feeling inside. And that's why I say never take somebody else's story. There you are telling a story, not creating a story. I'll come back to this difference of telling a story and creating a story, because this is something which I have used the most in table topics. appropriate to the audience, appropriateness to the audience. So here, what happens in this particular part is mostly because of we delivering the topics only till district. Most of the parts of the people connect to what has happened. So if I am somebody who is contesting from, say, District 92, people would be able to connect a little bit to generic stories of my life, experiences of my life in District 98. But what happened with me was, I am from District 98 in India, and I was competing in District 79 of Saudi. Different culture, different ideas, different beliefs, and different type of people. If I say wearing a mini skirt is an amazing thing, it tells me freedom, probably somebody would come and say that, no, that's not in our culture. How can you speak something like that in a table topic? And that's where you need to be a little considerate of which part of the world are you connecting with. If you feel that most of my audience sitting in the room are from the same culture, you will connect with them. But like in this meeting room today, we have people from Singapore, we have people from somebody else, and suppose I come and tell them, Rasam Sambar, how many of them would really understand what is Rasam Sambar and what is ille? So connect, understand your audience first. As soon as you enter the table topic contest room, look at your audience. Is it an international audience? Is it a combined audience, or is it something which is okay, my area, my world, my kingdom kind of a thing? And last but not the least, correctness of the grammar and pronunciation. A lot of people face this issue, but if you're speaking from your heart, day before yesterday, I heard a story from a girl. I would not name her, but we heard a story. Toastmaster Shravanti was joining us from US, and she stayed a lot of years over there. But she literally had eyes in her, tears in her eyes, listening to that story. Grammar, because she's somebody who has done only her 5th class. So you can assume how much language would she know. Grammar was nil. Language wasn't that appealing, but the emotion behind the story was so damn strong that even with that broken language, we connected, we had goosebumps listening to her story. So get those stories of your life which you feel are important to you, not to me. Most of the times, we try to collect stories which the audience will like, which the judges will like, well, the people in the meeting would like. No. I know my story. I know the story, what's happening in the world. You tell me Afghanistan is facing problem, it's okay. I know that. Who are you? Tell me something about you is what I am looking for in those 2 minutes. And the last but not the least part of how to formulate when I have all these factors together, but I don't know how to put them into right picture. I don't know what all questions I should be answering in that particular segment in 2 minutes. And here is the secret to that of what I do. As soon as I get that time, the 7 minutes which I told you for the storyline, answer the W's of your life and answer the H, the master H. The W's is what, why, who, and when. What happened in that particular story? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Who were the characters in that story? And why do you relate to that story so much? This part is extremely important. You've told me what, when, how, where. Okay, I know something happened in Scotland. I went for a trip and something happened in Scotland and it was 10 a.m. in the morning. But what? Why is it so important to you? Why are you telling me when we have billions of stories in our mind? Why are you telling me this particular story? What's your connect to it? Tell me that. That is something which I'm going to remember for my life. And the master how. The master how is something which binds the audience. This is only for the audience connect. How you felt at that point of time. So if I say, I saw a beautiful tall girl with open hair and wearing a red lipstick on her and probably the most beautiful eyes I have ever seen. Okay. But what happened? How did you feel then? Was it exciting? Was she that interesting? Did you approach her? Did you talk to her? That's my question in my head as an audience at that point of time. So when you are explaining anything in a table topic, remember, probably this is something which you can apply in your speeches also, if that helps. But tell the audience of how you felt. Show that excitement. Show those bubbles coming in your stomach, especially for the boys. You know, imagine a beautiful girl. How would be your expression that point of time if she's walking towards you? Express that emotion. That is where to get the maximum amount of points. In my area competition, the topic was very simple. The story just told one thing. I held the hand of an old lady standing in that corner of the road, made us walk step by step by step to this corner. The lady put her hand on my head and told me, God bless you, my child. That was my story. That was it. But that's where I explained the emotion. After this short story, I told them that I felt that a small act of doing something for somebody else, a small selfish act. I never knew it could do so much. That's what I learned there. So share that emotion which you get at that point of time, and it is going to do wonders in table topics. I hope you guys are understanding. Right? Do we have any questions in between, Deepa?
Yes, we do have a question from Rifada, who says, since you pointed out how important personal experience is, how do we include one if one doesn't have a hands-on experience or knowledge on the topic and connect with a personal story? How do you get that personal story out?
Okay. So that is something which I'm going to add towards the end of the session on this particular question, but I would not tell it right now, because then you will ask me to run out of this room and stop the session. I will for sure give an answer to this, but before that, let me just come to the last part of it, which is about time. A lot of people say that how do I divide 2 minutes, 30 seconds into the different aspects of the speech which you have told us. Right, so 2 minutes, 30 seconds roughly means around 10 seconds, if I'm right. Any mathematician in the room? Okay, so 2 minutes, 30 seconds is what we normally have. And how I normally decide is first 15 seconds need to be catchy lines. If you have a quote, start with a quote. If you have an incident from a story which is creating a scenario, on one hot afternoon, when my legs were burning in the sun rays, I could feel little droplets of water. Here you have created a scenario, a scene, an area for them to be in. See, table topics gives you very less time to bind the people in the limited box you want them to be in. Do not ever speak on vast areas. That's my personal experience. What you need to do is what I always say is, when you are a table topic speaker, close the people in as small a room as possible. And this room means the area of thinking that you give to them. Bring it, make it as short. So imagine, I tell it to you. Imagine a green banyan tree. Me sitting in front of, below that particular tree and feeling the breeze coming in. I don't see anything around. So what have I done here? I have given you a small room to think only that banyan tree, me, and a little bit breeze blowing. And absolutely blanked out, focused out everything else. That's where I start my emotion and connect with the audience. Blank out everything, just like a camera, how you focus on what you want them to see, make them see that. Okay, so in first 15 to 20 seconds, what you do is create the scenario. If you're not very good at creating or imagining scenarios, you can use a very powerful quote if you remember. Or you can talk about your belief, something which you have related to at that particular point of time with that topic. And there might be times that you really don't connect to any story immediately. Remember, it's a contest. You can't leave the floor. You should not. You can, but you should not. So if that happens, that you have not remembered any story in the first 15 to 20 seconds, after those 10 seconds of waiting, you can start with any experience, anything which you would want to, even philosophy about that particular topic. Right? Honesty gets us here. Honesty does this. Honesty does that. And then by that time, you get at least 30 seconds to remember. 10 seconds of wait, 20 seconds of creating the drama or the story or the background to it. So you've got 30 seconds to remember a story. So for sure, you will remember something till then which connects. If not, I'll tell you what to do. Next, 60 to 80 seconds is what is the most important part where you're creating the body. Do not waste time in telling, now I will tell you a story. Let me share an experience which happened to me. I know you're here for that. Start. Directly get into the story. Do not add these prefixes which absolutely don't make any sense. And similarly, a lot of people say that you should greet everybody in the room once you have started the contest. Who says? I did not greet in my area contest. I did not greet in my district, the division contest. They did not fail me. So it's okay. They know you are not there for greetings and they know they are in the room. If you have a strong conviction about that topic, rather if you start directly, just give a small, kind of a greeting in between. Start with your line. Say, good morning, fellow Toastmasters in the meeting room. That's it. You don't need to say chief judge, judges, contest chair, Toastmasters, family, friends, people sitting out of the room. No. You don't need that and you don't have any marks for that, remember. Absolutely no marks for it, as you have seen the ballot. And some people also say that, no, it gives a good impression. No, the more powerful you are, the more confident you are, the stronger you speak on your conviction on the table topics is what it is going to get you that marks. Okay, somebody has asked me, is there must be a transition? So how I normally take it is, because we have very limited time, the transition actually happens once you have done the start and connected to the story. You can't use transition lines in a table topic. You don't have that much of time. So for example, I'll give you an example once somebody gives me a topic from the audience after this. And then last but not least, the conclusion should take 20 seconds or maximum of 30 seconds. That does not mean that you will start a conclusion after you've seen the red card, because that leaves you with a very less margin until and unless you have practiced so many table topics. So how I started doing it was, I used to speak on table topics without a timer. Okay. And because I have attempted so many table topics, I got tuned here that if I speak these many sentences with my pace, my speed, I will be finishing at 2 minutes, 12 seconds, 15 seconds. And don't keep a buffer over that. I have closed my speech at 2 minutes, 29 seconds, but that's not a very good practice to do. That's high risk zone, even after all the practice which you have done. So start your conclusion when your yellow card comes in, wait for 10 seconds and start your conclusion from there. If you have a stronger conclusion or a say which you really want to conclude, you have buffer time of 30 seconds, but not mandatory to use it. Okay, so remember that particular card. Do not wait till red card to come, because you will feel anxiety and you will feel a hurry inside and you'll be more worried than what you're speaking in the conclusion and you will mess up everything. Right? I've tried all these things, so I'm sharing whatever I've experimented with all these things in different table topics, and that's how it works. So time yourself with that. And last but not the least, somebody must be asking that. Somebody must ask, okay, can somebody calculate how much would be 20, 80, and 30 seconds? So if I say, if I give 20 seconds or 30 seconds probably to the opening, 80 seconds to the body, 80 to 100 seconds, depending on your story, 80 to 100 seconds to the topic, say 100 seconds on upper end. And I say 30 to 40 seconds on your conclusion. How much is the total?
2 minutes 10 seconds.
I think the other second is gone. So if you take on the higher range, you will not have time, right? 2 minutes 10 seconds, but you get 2 minutes 30 seconds. If you take on the higher note, you will not get time. But if we go according to what I do, 20 seconds for opening, 80 seconds for body, and 30 seconds for conclusion. Now, how much time are we left with?
1 minute.
1 minute, around 30 seconds or so, as far as I know. 80-20 is how much it would be. I'm bad with calculations, sorry. 80, 20, and 30. How much time is it?
2 minutes 10 seconds.
Right. So 2 minutes 10 seconds is the total time which you take if you are dividing your speech into this matter. That is what I normally do because I'm aware of that time schedules and my pace. But what happens is if there is somebody who speaks like nobody else, what if I am a deep thinker and I really take time to put my words in front of you? What happens then? And what if I'm a really fast thinker and I really don't have time to put my words in front of you? I really want to speak what I have. Understand? So whenever you are dividing your time, understand your rate of speech, individual to everybody. This is my rate, my pace of speaking, and that's how I have divided it. So when you start practicing, see your rate of speech and then divide this time individualistic to yourself of how much you would need in each segment. Okay. Last but not the least, answer of the question which somebody asked me. What if you don't have a story? And that's true, right? I might not have lived for like 3,000 years to have a story for every single thing coming in my life. Most of the times, yes, we suggest to have true stories of your own life. If you don't have it, who knows, it's not your true story. If you are an expert in expressing it, work on that particular part a lot. That whichever story you are telling is created in a particular manner to enhance your speech. If you do not have a story of your own life, it's a contest. Create your story. Speak about others' story in your life with your name. Doesn't make a difference. Only you know it is not your true story. I don't, as a judge. And trust me, half of the stories that we listen to are not true. People create them. They create them in a manner that it creates that kind of a effect on you. So remember, your motive is to win that contest. And one suggestion would be that in case you are creating a story, try to keep it short. If it is your personal story, you can give a detail. The reason for that is when you're creating a story, it is being done then and there on the stage. You don't have something in your mind which you have experienced, and that might make you fumble with lots of R's and M's at that point of time, which you would not want to do in a contest. So keep non-personal stories short and personal stories probably fitting into this 8 seconds somewhere according to your pace.
I have a question.
Thank you, Pragya. We just have a surprise segment coming up now. Pragya told that we'll have a 15-minute table topics trial with her. So shall we go ahead with that, Pragya?
Before we do that, can somebody give me a topic? Because if I'm sitting and standing here, I should be justifying being here.
Okay.
Anybody
in the chat room?
And if there are any questions left, I'm not sure. Come on, you don't have to speak. You have to give a topic.
Okay, let me give, if there is no other topic, then I will give one. Okay, there's one. Devil's advocate. Okay. No.
Somebody says devil's advocate technique nahi bataya. So I will just tell you in one line what is a devil's advocate technique. What you do is go against the topic. and justify it with strong convictions. If I say honesty is not a best policy, that is something which is believed in the worldwide method. Everybody believes that honesty is good. They follow or they don't is a different scenario, but they believe. If I say, no, I don't think honesty is a good policy, it's the best policy, that's where you are being a devil's advocate and you are justifying and telling me a story which tells you that being honest was not a good idea. And the difference between creating a story and telling a story is, I tell you, can you look at a tree there and you know somebody sitting there below the tree? That was me. That's where I am telling you a story. As a third person perspective, you and me are standing here and the story is happening here. But what if I tell you, imagine me touching your fingers. Can you feel it? Can you live it? Can you hold my hand? That's where I am getting into the picture. You are getting into the picture and we are feeling the emotions together. So if possible, don't try to tell a story in table topics, create the story, be a part of it, feel the emotion of it, tell a story as if the other person is also in the story. Bring that person in your story, pull that person in. That's where the points are gathered. Okay, so your topic, Deepa.
What does the indefatigable mean to you in your life? What does the indefatigable mean to you in your life by Donna Young?
I absolutely, okay, so this is a test because I do not understand the meaning of indefatigable. Sorry, what was that word? No problem.
Indefatigable.
Everything in our life has a meaning. Do we understand all of it? Do you, my dear friends, understand all of it? That is something probably happening to me listening to this topic. I don't get what it means, but I know what the meaning of life is. I know that it is all about not giving up. I know it is all about being there, fighting for what you want and not giving up. There was a time in my life when everything was going haywire. I felt it's the end of it. I can't go beyond. It's over for me. My son, can I look like? Oh. He came to me and he asked, why are you sitting with your hands on your face, Mama? Nothing, my son. But you look upset. No, I am fine. Yes, I am fine. I can be for you, my son. I can be. Oh, that's what is the meaning of life. When you live for the people around you and you don't feel a defeat from the situations that have come in front of you. When you know how to fight back, probably at times, the younger ones know better than what we do. My dear friends, how many of you sitting in this room today have felt the need, the urge, the ambition to fight back? If you did, join me in. Over to you.
That was wonderful. Indefatigable means fatigued, wearied of life. And you did cover a lot of ground. Wonderful job, Pragya. So what do we do next? Pragya, shall we go to the next segment?
Yeah, your choice. If there are people who would really want to attempt table topics now.
I think we can have a couple of topics. We definitely want your feedback. So any volunteers, please raise your hand and Pragya will give you a topic and you receive a feedback. A quick raise of hands.
We have Pankaja raising her hand.
Yeah, Pankaja.
So Pankaja, your topic is, life is not what happens when we are planning for it. Life is not what happens when we are planning for it. Toastmaster Pankaj.
Have you ever seen your future as clear as glass? I saw that after I got my PhD degree. I knew I would return to India from UK, and then the professors in the university would give me a job in the university, and then I would do research and solve India's urban planning problems. I came back to India. The professors invited me to address their students, and they gave me flowers, but not a job. My future, which was as clear as glass, crashed. Have you ever seen such twists in life? And life happens when it happens. It doesn't matter what you plan. And do you know, I was jobless for 12 months. And finally, my dad said to me, join the IT industry. You love writing, become a technical writer. And so I joined. After a PhD, I went back to school to study technical writing, and I joined an IT company as a technical writer with a PhD and as an intern. Life happens when it happens and not as you plan. But the secret is, how do you treat plan? Treat the life going forward. Are you grateful for what happened? Looking back, I'm grateful that I joined an IT company and not academics. And that helped me to go up rung after rung and rise to where I am today. Life happens when it happens and not as per plan. I agree.
So do I give a review now, or will it be later, Deepa?
Would you like to give it now?
It would be better because it will be fresher.
Yes, yes, go ahead, please.
Toastmaster Pankaja, what an amazing way of starting and sharing your personal story. I was almost waiting as to when are you going to achieve what you want in your life. And the beautiful twists that you took in different segments were appealing to me. However, if I have to give you something which will make it amazing to unmatched, probably one is the stage usage. So whenever you are using stage, try to not go beyond your area. Right. Secondly, if you would have given us a little bit of idea on, your life from the place where you came, that would have given me an approach. Okay, why is it different? Why would you want to do this particular thing? And why are the people inviting you and not giving you a job? What happened before that? A little bit of, what have you done? Or probably, what happened? That was the kind of a missing in the story, because I could not relate that. Why did they not give you a job? And what happened? Kind of a thing. And thirdly, use of hand gestures is a powerful tool. But as I told, it's a small screen. They have to be used extremely in a very powerful manner. And the expression also needs to be backed up with a voice modulation. So at one point of time when you said they gave me flowers, not job. I loved it when you did that. But at the same point of time, in the next step, when you said that I got the degree, but I did not, I was an intern. Show the frustration, because I am sure after doing so much, you would probably explain it like, I got the degree, I did the PhD, and I was an intern. So that shows your frustration that this is not something which I would really want to go for. So that's how you build the drama. And if possible, create a box. My way of thinking was too broad. I could literally imagine everything happening around you over there in the imagination. That should not happen. Curb, as much as possible. Right? Okay. Who next? Can we have Toastmaster? Who's Toastmaster? Anand is. Okay. Yeah, Toastmaster Milind is also raising his hand.
Yes, we can have Toastmaster Milind.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's just one more update which I forgot. I told all of you to listen carefully. That was the first statutory warning which I told about table topics, if you remember. Table topics are subject to market risk. Listen carefully before start speaking. Is this only statutory warning I will give you for the contest again? The topic Toastmaster Pankaja was life happens when it is not planned. So I was not giving you a purview of, how would you go about things. You told about situations which you planned, you think of, and then life took you in a different manner. Although it's an open perspective, everybody has a different perspective, but the context of the speech was that we live in those moments which we don't always plan. We live there. That's the real kind of a life, the joy with the kids, the things happening around, stuff like that. Yeah. Toastmaster Milan, your topic is, can you come a little forward because I am not able to, if it's okay with you, if it's possible. Yes. Nobody decides about me, but me. Nobody decides about me, but me. Toastmaster Milan.
I wish I could have decided about me. From the day I was born, I never knew what I should do. Initially, I had a fascination to be an engine driver because in the steam locomotives, way they used to run that thing, I was crazy for that. I always dreamt that should be there, but then the steam engine went off. Then I found a diesel engine very natural, like any big truck. So that was not my fascination. So I stopped that. Then once I felt to be an Air Force pilot, and then I had this. There my dream went off. So the topic which was given, that nobody decides about me but me, that never happened in my case. I wanted to be a banker because my father was a banker. Thanks to Indira Gandhi, she nationalized the banks. So private banks' prerogative to give their employee's son a job was taken away. It became a bank recruitment. So I had no guts to sit for those exams. So that was a challenge. So somehow I had to pass the exam for class 10. Then since I was not good in science, only way was to do for commerce. Then with graduation, I was not good in maths, so I did not do CA or costing. I did something else, company secretary. So in my case, it was always, I never decided what I wanted. I wish I could decide. And now I'm married for 22 years. And do you think I decide about myself? No way. And that's why it's going to be till I drop dead. Over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Milan. And first of all, I loved the energy that you showed throughout the whole table topic, which is something which I would love to have. Secondly, I love the way you used the chronological order, the different segments where you told about your childhood and then you grew up and at different stages, what was that? So a good chronological order established over there. However, if I have to add a point of improvement, although there are not many, but one thing is, so how we see it as if I am talking about a particular side of it. When you said accounts and you said maths, right? If you are showing account at this point of time, account should stay here, costing should stay here, and maths comes as a different point for me. That's what I am using my gestures for. Also, throughout if you had a very clear view on why you have not been thinking about yourself since the start, because that's where you started. Oh, I wish, a very good thing to do. But if you could have given us a hint somewhere in the speech, maybe in the start or in the conclusion part, where you wanted to say that I have never been a deciding factor for myself. These were situations. But as a listener, my question is, okay, situation happened, but why didn't you decide after that? Why couldn't you decide on something else after that? So be clear that I have always been affected by the things happening around me, and that's why I had never made my own decisions. Give a clear message. That's an important part of table topic. If you have a very, very clear, subtle message. As a listener, I have come to a contest to calm down, relax, enjoy. I don't want to apply my brains there. You give me things on a platter, I will eat it. That's how I look as an audience. So thank you so much. And Deepa, over to Deepa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pragya. I'm so sorry for the other participants who raised their hands and showed the enthusiasm. Because of paucity of time, we'll have to wrap this up now. And if you have any questions for our speakers, please get in touch with our VP membership. We will mail the questions and try to get some sort of answers for you. And thank you, Pragya. Thank you so much for having.
Answer one last question, no? That one question she has kept the end. Remember, there was one question.
Don't tell a story, create a story.
There was something she said. I'm reserving it for the end.
Yes, so that was telling a story and creating a story which I have.
Fine. Thank you. Sorry.
Pragya, there was so much ground covered. I must tell you, this was the most value-added session I've ever been to. Entertain ideas, 2 ideas, 700 plus topics that you've tried, 4 versions of it, audio technique, prep technique, chronological technique. I mean, I was writing down my notes, and so did the audience. Thank you so much for coming to Speech Weavers and providing this insightful address to us with so many lessons. I'm sure everybody are now going to go back to their clubs and nominate themselves for contests, and then just take contest as a challenge and grow, because it's only you that grows in a contest. It's not about feeling stressed about, but it's all about growing. Thank you so much, Pragya. And please give her a big round of applause, and please share your comments in the chat section as to how much you appreciated her session today.
If I may just add one line. Remember, guys, the table topic is not only for the contest. A lot of men sitting over here. It is going to help you a lot when you have to go back to your wives, and she has number of questions for you. You'll be trained to think instantly of a story and create there. So a lot of help. And for all the moms, I know the question the kids ask. Try for the contest. You will have lots of answers for them.
There you go. It's not just contest, real life, every single day. Table topics is going to come in hand. Thank you so much once again, Pragya. And if Toastmaster Fursey is there, thank you so much, both of you, for bringing so much value and adding to the ambience of the club, even virtually. You really made this place vibrant. And now I would like to give back control over to our president, Mayur. Over to you, Mayur. Is Mayur there? I think we're not able to hear you, I guess. Aakash, can you confirm what's happening? Can you tell me what's happening?
Yeah, Mayur seems to be here, but I'm not able to spotlight him.
Okay.
Audio is gone. Probably some network issue.
Okay. There he is. There he is. Mayur, over to you for the closing remarks.
Thank you, Deepa, for conducting the session very well. I hope audience has enjoyed a lot today, and they're taking us a lot of learnings for themselves. I have taken a lot of notes, and I got a lot of learnings today. First of all, thank you, Fursey, for giving us session on evaluation, and I hope this will help me in the upcoming contest at the club level and various other events. Thank you, Pragya, for taking out your time and giving us a session on turning the table and table topics. I hope everyone has enjoyed the session. Now I would like to thank our role taker, specifically Toastmaster Deepa, for conducting the session well. It wouldn't be possible because of with your help and organizing the event. And now I would like to thank our timers, Vinu and Varsha, for making work behind the scene and giving us the timing details all throughout the event. Thank you so much, guys, Varsha and Vinu. I would like to thank our chat moderators for giving us wonderful help, helping us throughout the session, putting the chats and moderating throughout the sessions. I would like to share one feedback form with everyone to share their feedback. And if you are interested to join our club, please follow this link and share your details. We will get back to you. Now I would like to share certificates for our speakers. If Fursey, are you guys able to see my screen? Okay. Are you guys able to see?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Fursey, for conducting the session. We got almost 70 plus people from more than 20 plus countries. Thank you for conducting the session. Thank you, Pragya, again for conducting the session on turning the table. We are very happy and delighted with learnings shared by you guys. I hope everyone is filling the form I have shared. You can reach out to us on our others. Can you share our social media links and guest group link as well? So guests and other Toastmaster can reach out to us anytime for upcoming meeting details. Thank you, Adarsh. With that, I would like to close the meeting and close the meeting, and would like to take any feedback or how did you find the event? Anyone would like to say?